Hi and welcome to The Practice Gap, the podcast for closing the gap between the practice you have and the one that you want. I'm Elizabeth, a chiropractor, a business owner, coach and entrepreneur on a mission to help you move from frustration and overwhelm to clarity, focus and joy in practice. Hi and welcome to the studio, Anders Kvarme.
Thank you.
I've been very excited about this episode.
Thank you, me too. Thanks for having me. It's my first time in a podcast, so I'm a bit excited.
Welcome, yes. Anders works as an osteopath and he's also a dietitian, thank you. But the reason he's on here today is we are going to talk about AI. But before we do that, would you please tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yes, as you said, I'm an osteopath. It's sort of my hobby, so I have never felt I have a proper work. It's just my hobby and lifestyle all mixed up together. So I feel very excited about going to work every day. I cannot fully difference between my work and my private life. So, but I like it, I love it. And that's why I'm so into AI too, because when it's your hobby, you want to get better and better. Things are more fun and enjoyable when you improve a little bit each week. So AI makes me a way better osteopath and a dietitian and a leader too. I'm a leader at my clinic. So my goal is always to free up mental space and energy and time to talk to people. It's the internet
connectedness.
Yeah. It's
that's what brings us happiness in general life when we can.
It's the meetings I have with the people around me is what gives me the most value, both the turnover from my clients and also with joy. And to develop as an osteopath, I cannot sit in front of a computer and read. So my main goal is to free up space and energy and be more effective and give better quality of the after work, both journal writing when I write to doctors and even texting and mailing with my clients. Okay. Today we are going to talk a little bit about ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is called a large language model. Like Google, which we used a lot before to get information, you need to be very specific on what you are looking for. You cannot write 3 questions and give it context to Google. You will not get any valuable result from it. But a language model is made by experts feeding the machine with a lot of text, unbelievable amount of text. I think it's close to all text that is written and digitalized in the whole world, in all languages, are fed into this algorithm. Is unbelievable. And this is a bit technical, but every letter is converted to a number. So one text is a super long number. It sort of predicts what to answer you through all that huge amount of numbers. So it's a probability calculation for each number written. So I almost understand it a bit myself, but that's the technical thing. But the reason why I always explain this, it's that this is the fundamental cause that you need to give it as much context as possible, so it works well for you.
So the more context I give, the better it will work for me.
Yes.
As Elizabeth.
Yes. So for you, for example, you should tell it about your clinic, your special area of expertise, your courses, if you have PDFs on your computer from all previous workshops. If you are a all fresh beginner, never used it before. You should go for the low-hanging fruit, because all of the things I'm working with is quite fancy and a bit techy. It's not super complicated, but to start with real basics, I recommend you just to, if you have an email to answer, for example, to a client or a doctor or a colleague, just ask, because sometimes after seeing 20 patients you are super tired, and to write is actually a bit of a mental barrier. So I tend to procrastinate a little bit, hungry and I want to go home. So then you just write just a few phrases and some short sentences that it doesn't need to be hanging together or make sense. It's just the content you want. and then you can copy the mail and say, I want to answer this with this content and see what it gives you. Because I think already there, 4 out of 5 times, the mail you get, you can just directly copy and paste into the mail.
So you do a super fast draft where you don't think about anything, just, the highlights, what you need.
Yes.
And then I put into ChatGPT and say, like, I'm a chiropractor, I want to send this to a medical doctor, and I want a short synopsis of how this patient is doing and my plan.
Yes, it's unbelievable. And if you don't like the answer you get, if sometimes I find the ChatGPT to be a bit formal and a bit too polite. We are not so polite in Norway. So I tend to be a bit low-key when I write to my patients, for example. Then I ask it to rephrase and be a bit less formal. So then it will do that. And this takes just 3 seconds for it to rewrite it.
And then for me, as a warm person, I can also, can you write this in a warmer, more light tone?
Yes. Yeah. It's perfect. You can, everything you can imagine, you can just type it in and see what it gives you. So
play with it first.
Yeah, play with it. Don't think that you have to be this picture perfect and have taken a course on this and so on to start it. Just start using it, because there is so many low-hanging fruits there.
Okay, I want to save time, and one of the things that I know everyone struggles with is the amount of time to write good journals and documentation.
Yeah.
And I know that in some of the computer games, the computer programs, they have standard phrases, forms that you can just fill in. Yeah. So at least that's some help.
Yeah.
Could you tell the audience how, like, if you have a person coming in the first time, it's your first visit to me, and I sit and write down really fast as they talk, the sentences are bad, things are missing. What's the fastest way for me to make this into a really nice documentation that's in the journal?
I can tell you my routine.
Okay.
Because this context you give it, the more context you give and instructions you give, the more perfect it will be. So this is called a prompt. I never use that terminology when I talk to people. It's more of a description. Let's call it a description. So the description needs to be as precise as possible, right? To get the journal super tight, so you can just copy and paste it directly into your journal system. You should actually tell it each time that you are a chiropractor, you're authorized professional, and you're working at this clinic, and you're professional this and that, and tell it this is a first-time visit. I use this the most at the first-time visit. Write a lot. So I write a lot in my draft. When they talk, I write all the time. I'm a super write.
Do you write in the journal or write in like another place?
Directly to the journal.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at my patient. I learned to type without looking at the screen. Touch. Yeah. That's a skill which sounds super difficult. If you practice with a game a few weeks, you will master it for sure. On top of mine, I don't have the name of the game. There is a game. So then they tell you how to place your fingers on the tablature, and then you train yourself to only look at the screen, not at the tablature. And then you will see a picture of your pinky moving upright. Then you get that letter and that letter and that letter. It's
kind of like learning playing the piano.
Yes.
with the
perfect conversation, actually. And this goes way faster than you think, because you already have the tablature in your mind already.
How long does it, if I've never used it, how long does it take for me to learn touch?
Okay, this is my prediction. If you are a super,
they're super
beginner, but
or
everyone has written on a tablature before. I would say maybe if you practice 15 minutes each day. So if you block out in your schedule just one slot each day for 1 to 2 weeks, and after that you just make up your mind. You never go back to the old method. Then you will be a super expert. I really mean it, in like 2-3 months.
If you do just this one thing, you will save so much time.
So much. I also get very tired of the screen. So I like to just close my eyes sometimes and just write. After 3 months or maybe 2 months, you will be able to write as fast as you think. Then you can just think about what you will write in the journal, and it's on the computer. It's just auto. I turn myself with my full body onto my patient. So my legs, my arms, my head is focused on the patient. I have the tablature in front of me, which I don't look at, and I write every word they say without interpreted anything. And the good thing with ChatGPT is when it cleans up your note, it doesn't matter if you have any typing mistakes. So I have learned to just don't think about it. It's actually bad when I write without ChatGPT, because I make more typing errors now because I'm used to just go ahead. Pros and cons with everything. Just write everything they say, and also my question too. And I have been so fast with this and done this for a while. If I am thinking about things to ask them for, I also write this in as they speak in between when they think and so on. I always let my patient talk until they are finished. For most, someone can talk for an hour, then I interrupt them. I like everyone to finish off, and when they see I type, they always look down a bit and, oh my god, is just what is this? Someone comments on it, and I'm just writing everything you say. I'm really interested in getting all the details from your story, so I can really think about this also after you have left my office. Yes, because the magic with that is the brain cannot take in all the information at once. The brain is constructed like when you hear something, you want to put some meaning into it. If I get this tunnel vision on this must be a protrusion in the lumbar region, I'm not thinking about the piriformis syndrome or something like that. After the session is done, when I clean up the note with ChatGPT, we are jumping a bit now, in ChatGPT, when you ask it to do something, it's actually a chat. That means when ChatGPT has cleansed your note.
So so you're done with the first consultation, and you're copying all the things in your journal. You have another place on the computer where you have ChatGPT open, and then you copy it into the program. What do you ask ChatGPT to do?
Yeah, when you are a beginner, you type in just the draft, and then you paste it into ChatGPT. Just a little mark there. If they say something which can identify them, you just drag that text to the bottom of the draft and don't put it into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
That's
so
the
anything
only
that's
thing.
personal.
Yes. If they say I'm the boss at Becken og Barn,
then
it's quite easy to find out who it is. That's a function you have today. You can just mark that sentence and just directly drag it to the bottom, and it will just clip it out and drag it to the bottom automatically. That's I think that's quite standard in every program now. So I'm just, if I know there is something there, because when I write, you will remember that, here there's something I should take out. And when I've done that, you take all the draft, and you can, in the beginning, just type it in and say, clean up this note and see what it. Start with as simple as that. When I started cleaning up my journal note, it was actually the very first thing I used ChatGPT for. I started like that. In the beginning, I had a Word document where I typed in my description, so I don't need to every time type the full description. Yeah, I also have this. And clean up the note after this rule and colon. And then I have punctual things as a list down below that. So every time ChatGPT does a mistake, when it cleans up my note, I update that list.
Okay.
So in the beginning, it was as simple as I never write out left. I just write L. And lumbar, LX. I have this sort of short abbreviation. Yeah. Then I just updated the list with all my abbreviation. So L stands for left, R stands for right, LX is lumbar, TX is thoracal.
So then
blah, blah.
I could do like PB pelvic bench,
Yes.
or KC knee chest.
Yes.
High, low, high. And then every time I make my list, Word document, and then I just, before I put the notes in my draft, I copy that on top, and then the colon, and then I just copy in my draft, and then just put enter.
Yeah. So, and then when you clean up the journal note, you copy the description on top and the draft on the bottom, and then you type it in, and then it will clean it up. In under 10 seconds. Each time it makes it just do a mistake once, because when you update the description, it will never do that mistake again.
Yeah. So it keeps learning.
Yes. The next level from this description is I use now a program which is called Text Expander. Maybe we can put a link in the description of the episode.
Yes, I will do that, no problem.
Because what Text Expander does is it makes the workflow a bit simpler. You can use Word to begin with. You don't need fancy, nerdy software in the beginning. But the 15th time you copy and paste from the Word, you know that, okay, I will continue to do this. This is very good. So what Text Expander does is that you put the description into Text Expander and you make a abbreviation there to trigger Text Expander to replace your abbreviation with your actual description. My shortest is set clean journal. And when I type space, this triggered Text Expander. Then it takes out the abbreviation and it put in this super long description because the
Okay, let's stop it. And since this I'm completely new with, and I will tell the audience how new. I downloaded it yesterday. I signed up. So I opened it twice and it looked a little complicated. I have not spent much time. I just heard you talk about it a little bit and I tried to figure it out. So could you just explain one more time? I did see how awesome it was because I did see you use it, but it's a little scary when you open it because it was like, oh, looks very different. So just could you in one more time very lightly explain how this will make my life easier if I actually learn this?
So with ChatGPT, as we are discussing, to be able to faster paste in the description into ChatGPT, you use Text Expander. Honestly,
so that's kind of instead of the Word document.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes, it replaces that, makes it quicker. Yeah.
So then in Text Expander, it's open next to my journal in the computer.
Yeah.
What do I do?
In the beginning, you need to have Text Expander at the side of ChatGPT because when it makes a mistake, you have to correct it in Text Expander. So sometimes, if it's a simple mistake, sometimes the most common error it makes, it says he instead of she. When Text Expander, ChatGPT is writing to you, you can just speed read, and if you see it says he and it's she, I just type she, enter, and it starts over using she. So you can just correct it with just one word. It almost always understand what I mean. But when there is something fundamental it does as a mistake, you correct the description. You couldn't do that in Word or in Text Expander because then the next time you call for the abbreviation, then the updated description will be pasted into ChatGPT.
Okay. Yeah. I know this might be a little complicated when you talk about this, but we're gonna round up this little episode now, and then we're gonna make one more episode after the little coffee break, and then I'm thinking the take-home message is get into ChatGPT, start playing with it, and start, if you haven't used it, do it at least on the first consultation to clean up your notes, and you will fall in love with it. And then it's super easy also to write reports. It just makes it super nice and easy, and then suddenly you become proud of sending them off because I know that a lot of my colleagues and friends who are colleagues, they have this little barrier towards sending reports because they feel that their language isn't good enough and they don't know exactly how to do it. So if we feed some good reports into ChatGPT, they will easily then learn how I like it, and then it's going to make it easy. I'm going to save time. I will send more reports. And that's good communication marketing for myself. And hopefully I will have a much larger practice. And the good thing is I'm saving time and earning more money, basically. So learn ChatGPT and then start playing with Text Expander.
And the very best is when the insurance company want an epic crisis or a summarization, they actually pay a report. They actually pay you for this. So before you need to cut and paste and make it properly, when you have a perfect description, you make like 800 kroners or what it is in 10 seconds, like that. So that's a good charging rate.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you, Anders, for giving us a little summary where to starting point, how to use AI in your clinic. And the next episode, we're going to go into even more fun, all the possibilities you have.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.